It's been 3 years since he resigned from his position as prime minister, and today he is fighting off the corruption charges being brought against him. But earlier this week, Ehud Olmert sat down with the Jerusalem Post editor-in-chief Steve Lindy to discuss politics, peace negotiations, and the Iranian threat.
Are you encouraged that Israel and the Palestinians have started to talk directly again?
Well, I'm always very happy that there are contacts and negotiations. And by way of comparison, of course, compared to the recent past, the fact that there are some contacts under the auspices of the Hashemite Kingdom and the very positive and forceful initiative of King Abdullah II, the Israelis and the Palestinians meet, is, I think, positive, and as I said, by way of comparison, I'm very happy. To say that I'm encouraged by what appears to be the content of negotiations and the prospects for a rapid movement forward, I'm not so certain. I'm afraid that both sides stick to the old rhetoric, which is not going to move us forward. One must understand one thing. We have been wasting years and years and years talking near the issues, but not through into the heart of the issues. I tried to do it when I was Prime Minister, and I suggest that everyone that negotiates now, both the Israeli side and the Palestinian side, I'm not relieving the Palestinians from their responsibilities. They have responsibility, and they have to manifest this responsibility by being sincere and open and flexible. But equally, one must admit that it is incumbent upon us just as well to come forward forcefully and with courage and with a real intent to conclude this with an agreement.
How do you think that the events in the Arab world around us are impacting the situation?
What we have seen is that for the first time, most likely not a result of any encouragement or pressure by organized bodies, but this was an eruption of the emotions and the desires of the rank and file, the grassroots, the people, that they want to change. Now, this is not a bad or a negative development. The question is, what will be the next step? I think that if we will reach an agreement with the Palestinians, it will be enormously helpful in projecting an atmosphere of hope in the Middle East and maybe helping the moderate forces in other countries to move along. Therefore, I'm not always happy with the immediate outcome of what has been named as the Arab Spring, but on the long run, I think that people finally found out that they are powerful and that they can make a change.
Will Israel, if the situation continues, have to learn to live with a nuclear Iran?
If you want to conclude that I will acquiesce with nuclear Iran, the answer is no. It's definitely no. The question is not whether we can live with nuclear Iran. The answer is we don't. The question is how, in what way, what are the measures that we take, how do we try to stop Iran from becoming nuclear. And I think that there can be different ways. Some ways are already implemented quite successfully, I think. But, you know, on the one hand, all of the Israeli leadership, I used to say it when I was Prime Minister, and I think even the Prime Minister today repeats it, which is good, that America has to lead it. So if you want America to lead it, I suggest two things. Number one, don't talk publicly about it too much. because no one in America wants to be seen as if he does something because of the Israeli pressures. It not only that he doesn't help, but he helps reverse the attitude of those who might be willing to take serious and sharp measures against Iran. And in this context, I only want to say that if there will be an agreement between Israel and the Palestinians, it will help facilitate a more aggressive attitude by the Western powers against Iran. And that's why this is an additional argument why I think we should be very, very serious about negotiating with Iran, with the Palestinians.
Internally, if we can talk about the situation in Israel for a few minutes, do you think there's a chance that early elections could be called?
In Israel, I think the question should be reversed. You should ask, is there a chance that elections will take place in time? Because in the last 25 years that I can recall, there never were elections in time. They always were called in earlier to the dates that were pre-scheduled.
Well, you personally were a very good friend of Tommy Lapid. Do you think Yair Lapid could be a real political force in the future?
He's fresh. He comes from outside of the political system. Now, is it not what we all want, that young, successful, bright, serious people will join politics? This is what we want. And you say that I was a very close friend of Tommy Lapid. He was my best personal friend. And I consider myself to be very, very close to Yair. I'm not a member of his party, or I will not be a member of his party. I'm a member of Kadima. But I'm very happy that he decided to join the political system. I think he will contribute a great deal. I think he's a very serious guy. And I am looking forward with great hopes that his contribution will help change the situation in our country.
How do you think your successor has done in Kadima, and do you think Shaul Mofaz could perhaps take over the leadership?
That I don't know. It remains to be seen. I'm not involved in the day-to-day affairs of Kadima. I really don't want to get into this. I can say that my successor did not succeed to become prime minister, to be elected prime minister, as I did 4 years earlier. Almost 4 years earlier, but what one has to admit is that she came up as the largest party in Israel, and Kadima is still the largest party in Israel. And what will be in the next elections, I don't know. I don't know if she wins the primary and still maintains her position as chairperson of the party, or whether it will be Shaul Mofaz, or whether there will be other developments which are unforeseen at the present time, but which can happen. We have to wait and see.
What would you say to those Israelis who miss you, and what would your best advice be to the Netanyahu government?
I don't know whether people miss or they don't. You know, I hear sometimes people in the street, and it certainly makes me feel very flattered and very proud when they hug me and say, when will you come back, we miss you, and so on. Look, I always thought throughout my life, I've been in politics longer than Netanyahu, and perhaps longer than most of the prominent figures that are now in position in government or in the opposition. And I've been through almost everywhere. I was a mayor, I was a minister in every important ministry, I was prime minister. And I always felt the same in all of the positions that I held, that at the end of the day, really, public relations and popularity and positive reactions are important, but they are not the heart of what you want. What is important is what you do. What you really want to achieve. What is it that keeps you moving every day? I mean, what is the goal that you are striving to achieve? That is the one that guides you all the way through. the feeling that I have is that survivability in politics is an important ingredient, because if you don't survive politically, you can't achieve what you want to achieve. But when survivability becomes the goal, then you miss the opportunity to do something that will be left after you for the next generations. My desire, my ambition, my hopes were that I could reach an agreement with the Palestinians, which I think is the single most important issue in our lives. It will change everything. It will, once and for all, give a legitimacy to borders that Israel will have, a recognition by the entire international community, and will allow Israel to change priorities in a meaningful way and to invest the energies, the unlimited talents that we have in the building and in the strengthening and in the quality of life of this country. Already now, Israel is a great place to live in. This is a great country. This is a very successful country. When I think that we will be able to shift our priorities, instead of fighting terrorists, instead of investing so much in security, to invest that in the building and in the expansion of the quality of our lives, Israel will be the #1 state in the whole world. And this is not a dream, it can be a reality. And this is what I would expect from any prime minister, that he will set a goal, not think how popular it will make him today or tomorrow. Forget about opinion polls, forget about what they write about you in the Jerusalem Post or in Yediot Achronot or on Channel 2 on television. But what is it that is important for the people of Israel that you have to serve?
Are you involved in legal things at the moment that take up all your time, or can we expect you to come back?
I'm a citizen of the State of Israel. Everything which is part of the life of this country is important to me, and I certainly am looking with great excitement at what can and should be done in this country, and days will tell.
Thank you so much
very
for
much.
talking with us.
Thank you.
It was a pleasure.
Thank you.